Hey neighbor, well I didn't know till a few years ago how easy it was for us to grow lettuce here in the South. When we think about lettuce, we think about icebox lettuce, and the majority of it is grown out in California, and that's what we probably think about when we think about salad bar lettuce. But the fact of the matter is, we can grow beautiful lettuce here in the South. We just have to make sure we grow the right variety at the right time, and there's a few tricks or secrets, I might say, to doing that. Well, here in the South, our falls and our springs and even our winters can fluctuate on temperature down, in the 40s up to 85 the next day. We do a great job of growing lettuces, and lettuces are easy to grow regardless what kind of gardener you are. If you're a gardener that grows a lot of in-ground, or you're just a raised bed gardener, or you're just a container gardener, lettuce can be a great thing for you to grow in the fall of the year, winter, and springtime outside here in the South. In the summertime, I don't grow lettuces in the summertime outside. One thing is they get bitter, and lettuces just don't like hot weather. So if I'm gonna grow lettuces in the summertime, I'm gonna grow them inside an air conditioning room in a grow light. They work fine like that. For my outside production, it starts in the fall. I grow it all winter long into early spring, and I pretty much stop at that point. Now the trick to growing lettuces is to use the right variety for where you live. We like these varieties that are heat tolerant because our temperatures can't fluctuate so much. 41 degrees this morning, and heck, we could be 85, 90 degrees by the end of the week. It's just a fact of living here in the South. So that's the reason here at Hoss we do a lot of testing on heat resistant varieties for tip burn and for bolting. We don't like a fast bolting lettuce. We like a slow bolting lettuce and one that is resistant to tip burn. This is one right here that I'm trialing out called Mur, M-U-I-R. This is an older variety right here that is resistant to tip burn and is extremely heat tolerant. I like it so far. We've got a romaine right here that I'm testing out that we don't care. It's a newer romaine here that does really good. So we're always testing varieties that work good for us. Now, as far as harvesting goes, yesterday afternoon, I came up here and I harvested some lettuce for us for dinner last night. I harvested these 3 little pots right here and one off this bigger pot here. We got enough lettuce to last for a few days. I don't harvest my lettuce real close. I kind of cut the tops off of them right there. And these things will come back out after I fertilize them. And I can cut these things 2 to 3, maybe even 4 times before they give it up there. And see how small of a pot that is right there? That thing will yield a lot of lettuce. So if you need to grow in container type things like we grow indoors, or I like to grow in my greenhouse here, these containers right here, these things can yield a lot of lettuce. This romaine right here is ready for the second cutting. You can see there, we cut this about a week ago. We cut this probably maybe 10 days ago right here. It's done fleshed back out and we could harvest it again. So if you have a small space, you can grow a lot of lettuce. Raised beds is one of my favorite ways to grow lettuce because I can grow a lot of it and the lettuce stays pretty clean. It's not in the ground and it doesn't get a lot of dirt on it. I can keep it cleaner this way and I can control the environment. Now I transplant just about all my lettuces, plant them in the greenhouse, grow my plants and transplant them out with the exception of seed tape. We have one in seed tape I'll show you in a minute that you can direct seed. But I normally don't like direct seed lettuce because my spacing gets off. With direct plants like this right here, I can control my spacing. Now here again is the variety Mur that we're trialing out there. It seems to be doing pretty good, but this is a variety right here we've carried for a long time called Cherokee. I like this variety here for a couple of reasons. It's got that pretty red color to it, and I always like to match it up with a green one, so when we harvest it, we can mix it up for some color contrast. This variety right here does extremely well in the heat here in the South. Also, it's a pellet variety, so the seeds are easy to handle, but it's an airy type plant. So it gets air underneath it right here, and we don't have near as much problem with crown rot or rhizoctonia. If you ever get a lettuce plant that rots off at the stem there, that's a common thing we have in wet, cool soils with some of these lettuces here. They get moisture trapped underneath there and they rot off, and that is rhizoctonia or crown rot. This particular variety right here is aired up more, or the leaves are more upright, so we get more air circulation in here and we don't have that problem as much. Now these type lettuces right here, we seem to have more of a problem with that, with crown rot, because these leaves are more down toward the ground there and we don't get the air circulation underneath there. So we tend to have more of those issues with these type loose leaf lettuces right here, such which is the myrrh right there. But this one is performing well for us. And with these raised beds here, we can keep the beds drier. We can control the moisture there because typically raised beds stay a little bit drier than in-ground gardening does. So here's an option for some of you guys that may not have a lot of room, or maybe your first time growing lettuces. This here's one of those vertical planters, and I'm sure you've probably seen. This particular one's called a green stalk, but there's several out there on the market. Most of them act the same way. They got these water reservoirs you feed from the top, and it kind of drips down in there. Works really nice. You don't have to water them quite as often. And I think these things are perfect for growing lettuces. I don't think they work well with a lot of plants, but I think growing lettuces is the calling for these vertical planters here. You see Mama Hoss has several different varieties like we had up there planted in here. The romaines, Cherokees, and the myrrh planted in there. They seem to be doing really good. She could come here and trim some of this off and harvest it as she needs it, and they'll flush back out. You would really be surprised how much lettuce you can grow on one of these vertical planters here, and they don't take up much room at all. And if you happen to be going out of town for a few days, you can water from the top. They seem to be a little bit less maintenance than maybe growing in raised beds because they do have that water reservoir up there. But it's a great option for you guys that are limited on space, that you can grow a lot of lettuce. So I'm gonna plant some more lettuce seed today because I need to be growing some more transplants so I can have a constant supply of lettuce when these here go by the wayside, which is not gonna be very long. So I need to get some more started. But I'm starting these in seed trays. But if you don't have the ability to start your own plants in seed trays, but you got raised beds or even containers and you wanna grow lettuce, this right here is the perfect product for you. This is our seed tape, which has the oak leaf salad bowl lettuce mix in there. I don't recommend direct seeding lettuce into the ground there because the spacing is nearly impossible to get, and spacing is so important with lettuce. But with this seed tape right here, the spacing is already in there. If I can get it open. All right, I finally got it. Inside there is the tape. If you've not seen our seed tape, it works great for you guys that want to direct seed everything. The spacing is already in there. Plus the seed tape already has starter fertilizer in there as well. So you can lay this out, cover it up. This is a great option for you guys that don't have the ability or don't want to start your own seeds. Oak leaf seed tape. You can grow a lot of lettuce right here. These 15 foot in this little packet right here. I grew it last year. Grow a lot of lettuce with this 15 foot. All right, so the one I'm planting today is one of my favorites, the Cherokee lettuce here, and this is a pelleted one, and I'm gonna show you our Butter Crunch lettuce, which is a great lettuce, but it is not pelleted. This is raw seed. I'm gonna show you the difference. All right, see the raw lettuce seed there? See how small it is there? It can be a little aggravating to singulate and plant. There's a lot of seeds right there. I mean, it's doable, but they are a little aggravating to work with, as opposed to pelleted seed. Now this is the raw lettuce seed that is coated with a clay coating to make it more round and easier to take your fingers and plant these seeds. Hey folks, y'all getting a sneak peek into a new product for 2025 that we're excited about. This is a new seed starting tray we're coming out with. We took our 162 tray, our big long prop tech tray that has worked so well for so many years, and we cut it down to a 25 cell tray. Coming out with that in 2025. We're gonna have a bottom tray with it as well. Proven design that works great. And this is gonna be good for you guys that don't need to grow as many plants. So this is the prototype, and this is what I'm gonna be planting my lettuce in today. So I'm using the pelleted seed, and you can see here how much easier it is to drop these seeds into the cell. Now every now and then I may get 2 per cell. That's okay, we can come back and thin that out. My goal is to get 1 per cell, and it's real easy to do with these pelleted seeds right here, and that's the reason I like them. We will probably transition all of our lettuce seed to pelleted seeds at some point because I think it is the way to go. I just want to cover them up lightly. I'm going to use our seeding mix today that we planted in. Sometimes I'll use perlite. Whatever I got handy will work. And just lightly cover these up and water it in. Now I'll do this a couple of times a day, keep it nice and moist so that these seeds have plenty of moisture to germinate. In a few days, I'll have some nice lettuce plants I can transplant out into some pots, raised beds, whatever, maybe another garden tower, so we can have a continuous supply of lettuce to make our salads with. These loose leaf types here are more forgiving and probably the easiest ones for us to grow here in the South. You can be successful with these real easy. Now, I've told you before that all the iceberg lettuce is grown out in California and none of it's grown here in the South. I have found out that they have been successful growing some iceberg type lettuces here in the South, even in South Georgia here. I actually had a phone call with one of the breeders from the UK yesterday, and we're going to be trialing a variety very soon that they've been successful growing iceberg type lettuce here in the deep South. So I'm excited about that. That's something that I didn't think was possible, but they've done some great breeding on some lettuces and they're getting some icebergs that will succeed here in the South. From the home gardener standpoint, I'm not sure it's something we need to jump on at this point. We're going to trial it out and see how it grows out, where we can maybe offer it to you or tell you to stay away from it. But these loose leaf lettuces right here are very forgiving. Hey, they're beautiful, easy to grow, they taste great. I do like to mix them up sometimes, the red and the greens here. Now, growing lettuces is an easy thing to do if you do it at the right time of the year. I like to plant mine starting in September and grow it all the way into probably March as far as the outside is concerned. Make sure you use a variety that's easy for you to grow in your area, one that's been tested and proven to grow in the South or Midwest or North, wherever you at. And also, if you'll use pelleted seeds, I think you'll find it a lot easier for you to manage those seeds. If you can't use that, use our seed tape and plant it into a raised bed. I think a raised bed is probably the first way to start if you're going to grow lettuces, but you're missing out if you're not growing your own salads.